The SQL database extension and the necessary documentation can be found on the website. In this video, I will show that Analogic applications can be used not only with an IBM TN1 backend model and MDX, but also with SQL queries to populate grid tables or any other widget. For this example, we will look at how this grid table is populated with a dataset from a SQL query. The data arrives similarly to how it does with MDX. For this, you need to write queries like this one, in which we specify where the data comes from in our SQL database and what data we need. Then in repository.js, in an init function, we specify our URL, which in this case points to our GraphQL database. The type and server parameters will be the same, and in the body, we can return the key that the repository.ynl file uses to find our query, along with any dynamic parameters, just as if we were using MDX. Parse and control is what is a bit different compared to MDX data loading. Here we create the result, which is an empty array that we will return with the result. We also create the filter data variable, into which we load the data that is active from the query response. Here we use data.data.cedar_portal_org, and we know to use this because we can see here in a sequence where the data is located, and we only need the active ones. After this, we populate our columns in sequence. The item.name, here we can reference the item, so we don't have to retype this long cedar_portal_org data every time. We assign the org's name to the title and the ID to the second column. In the third column, we populate the icon based on a system value variable, and then we fill the remaining two columns with an icon. After that, we push the row into our result array and return the result. We can also look at another example. This is a simpler users table where we get our data back in the same way as we saw before. Its query looks like this. It is clear here that we can query from two places within one query. Here, we query data from both cedar_portal_user_org and cedar_portal_user. You can see that we get a response from both, and here, the population in the parsing control looks like this. We first specify that we will populate from cedar_portal_user_org and collect data from it. Then, just like in the previous example, we just need to pay attention to the fact that within the data, we query cedar_portal_user_org. Within that, the user, and within that, we want to display the email. And in the same way, we can provide its ID, so you just have to specify hierarchically where to query the data from. We have a predefined hasAdmin role, which we specify here to find the corresponding data in the given query. And when we are done with cedar_portal_user_org, we can then populate from cedar_portal_user as well. And this will, of course, populate it below the other data. You can see that from cedar_portal_user we get our admin@admin.com email, and the rest of the emails are populated from cedar_portal_user_org. And here too, just by referencing the item, we load the email, the username, which is necessary for further functions like deleting or adding permissions. And at the end, we return the whole thing in the result.